Hello, and a very warm welcome back to the Soft Talk Pod. My name is Kylie, and I am so grateful to have you here with me again. This is our shared space for quiet reflection, a gentle pause in our busy lives where we can explore our inner world together. In our last episodes, we've talked about feeling lost and the difficulty of being present. Today, I want to talk about something that lies at the heart of both of these feelings. It's a practice that sounds so simple, but for many of us, it is one of the hardest things to do. Today's topic is why we struggle with self-compassion. Let's start with a simple question. Think about the last time you made a mistake. Maybe it was a small one, like burning your toast. Or maybe it was something bigger, a mistake at work, or a difficult conversation with someone you love. What was the first voice you heard in your head? Was it a kind voice? A gentle, understanding voice that said, "It's okay, everyone makes mistakes." Or was it a harsh voice, a critical voice that said, "How could you do that? You're so stupid." Or, "You always mess things up." If your answer is the second one, you are not alone. So many of us find it easy to show compassion to our friends, our family, even to strangers. When a friend is hurting, we offer them kindness. We tell them it's not their fault, that they are strong, and that things will get better. But when we are the ones who are hurting, we often do the opposite. We become our own worst critic. We judge ourselves, we blame ourselves, and we say things to ourselves that we would never, ever say to a friend. Why is this? Why is it so natural to be kind to others, but so difficult to turn that same kindness inward, toward ourselves? In this episode, we are going to gently explore this question. We'll look at some of the deep-seated reasons why self-compassion feels so unnatural for so many of us. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding. My hope is that by shining a soft light on these struggles, we can begin to find a gentler way to be with ourselves. So let your shoulders relax, let your breath be soft, and let's begin this gentle exploration together. Let's begin with a very common belief, a misunderstanding that many of us carry. We believe that being kind to ourselves is a form of weakness. We mix up self-compassion with other things, like self-pity or making excuses for ourselves. We think that if we are gentle with ourselves after a failure, we are just feeling sorry for ourselves. We worry that if we are too forgiving, we will lose our motivation to improve. So we adopt the opposite strategy. We believe that being hard on ourselves is necessary. We think that a harsh inner voice, a tough inner critic, is what keeps us strong and pushes us to do better. We treat our minds like a training camp, where a drill sergeant is always shouting at us to work harder, to be perfect, to never make a mistake. We think this is the only way to succeed. But I want to invite you to think about this in a different way. Imagine a child who is learning to ride a bicycle. The child falls again and again. Now imagine two different parents. The first parent shouts at the child, "Get up, why do you keep falling? You're not trying hard enough." The second parent comes over, gives the child a hug and says, "It's okay. Falling is part of learning. I know you can do it. Let's try again when you're ready." Which child do you think will feel safer? Which child will have the courage to get back on the bike and try again? It's the second child, of course. Fear and shame do not create motivation. They create anxiety. They make us afraid to try because we are so afraid to fail. Kindness and support, on the other hand, create a feeling of safety. This emotional safety gives us the courage to face challenges, to learn from our mistakes, and to grow. True self-compassion is not about saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter that I failed." It's about saying, "I failed and that feels painful. It's okay to feel this pain. And because I care about myself, I will support myself through this and try to learn from it." It is a source of strength, not weakness. So, our first reason is a deep-seated fear. We mistakenly believe that self-compassion is a weakness that will make us lazy or complacent. We think being hard on ourselves is what makes us strong. But in reality, harsh self-criticism often leads to fear and anxiety, while self-compassion provides the emotional safety we need to be resilient and brave. The next reason we struggle is because many of us live with a very loud, very persistent voice in our heads. We can call this voice the inner critic. This is the voice that judges everything we do. It points out our flaws. It reminds us of our past failures. It compares us to other people. It's the voice that tells us we are not good enough, not smart enough, not attractive enough. It's a constant source of negative self-talk. Where does this voice come from? It doesn't just appear from nowhere. For many of us, the inner critic is an echo. It's an echo of critical voices we heard when we were young. Perhaps it was a parent who had very high expectations, or a teacher who was always pointing out our mistakes. It could even be the voice of society, the messages we receive from the media that tell us how we should look, how we should act, and what it means to be successful. Over time, we internalize these outside voices. We make them our own. The critic moves from the outside world into our own minds, and it becomes a familiar, almost constant companion. Now, it's important to understand something very gentle about this inner critic. The inner critic is not your enemy. It is actually trying to protect you. It's a misguided protector. It thinks that by pointing out all your flaws, it can help you fix them before anyone else sees them. It thinks that by being harsh, it can prevent you from making a mistake that could lead to rejection or shame. Its goal is to keep you safe and to help you belong. But its strategy is based on fear. It's like a guard dog that barks at everything, including the friendly mail carrier. It doesn't know how to be gentle. So when we try to practice self-compassion, we are going against a very old, very strong habit. The inner critic will shout louder because it's afraid that if you stop listening to it, something bad will happen. Learning self-compassion is not about fighting or destroying the inner critic. It's about recognizing it. It's about hearing its worried voice and gently saying, "Thank you for trying to protect me. I understand you are scared, but I am going to try a kinder way." To put it simply, we all have a harsh inner critic, which is often an echo of critical voices from our past. This critic tries to protect us using fear and judgment. It's a powerful, automatic habit. Learning self-compassion involves recognizing this voice not as an enemy, but as a misguided protector, and consciously choosing a kinder, more supportive inner dialogue. Let's move to our third reason, which is very simple but also very profound. For many of us, self-compassion is difficult because we were simply never taught how to do it. It feels like trying to speak a foreign language that we have never heard before. Think about your childhood. You were probably taught to be kind to others. You were taught to share your toys, to say please and thank you, and to help a friend who falls down. We receive a lot of training in how to show compassion to other people. But did anyone ever teach you how to show compassion to yourself? Did anyone ever tell you to speak kindly to yourself when you are sad, or to forgive yourself when you make a mistake? For most of us, the answer is no. This kind of inner kindness was not part of our education. Because it is an unfamiliar practice, it can feel very strange, very awkward, and even inauthentic when we first try it. Imagine you decide to try being kind to yourself. You make a mistake, and instead of your usual self-criticism, you try to say something nice to yourself like, "It's okay, you are still a good person." It might feel silly. Your mind might immediately respond with, "No, it's not okay, I don't deserve this kindness." It feels fake because it's not our habit. It's like learning to write with your non-dominant hand. If you are right-handed and you try to write with your left hand, it feels clumsy and the letters look messy. Your first instinct is to switch back to your right hand, which feels natural and easy. Practicing self-compassion is the same. Our habit, our dominant hand, is self-criticism. Self-compassion is the other hand. It requires conscious effort and patient practice. We have to accept that it will feel awkward at first. We have to be willing to write those clumsy letters, to speak that unfamiliar language again and again until it slowly starts to feel more natural. We are building a new neural pathway in our brain, and that takes time and repetition. In short, self-compassion is a struggle because it's a skill most of us were never taught. We are experts in being kind to others, but we are beginners at being kind to ourselves. When we try it, it can feel strange and unnatural, like speaking a new language. It's a practice that requires patience and the willingness to feel awkward as we learn. There is one more reason I want to explore with you today. We struggle with self-compassion because when we are suffering, we often feel completely alone in our pain. This is a very powerful illusion created by shame. When we fail or make a mistake, we feel a sense of shame. And shame has a very particular voice. It whispers to us, "You are the only one. No one else feels this way. No one else makes these kinds of mistakes. There is something uniquely wrong with you." This feeling of isolation makes self-compassion almost impossible. How can you be kind to yourself when you believe you have a unique, terrible flaw that separates you from all of humanity? The truth is, of course, the exact opposite. Suffering, failure, and imperfection are not things that separate us. They are the very things that connect us. They are a fundamental part of the shared human experience. Every single person on this planet knows what it feels like to fail. Every person knows the pain of disappointment. Every person feels insecure sometimes. But we don't often talk about it. On the outside, especially on social media, it looks like everyone else has a perfect life. We see the happy photos, the successes, the achievements. We don't see the struggles, the doubts, the messy reality behind the scenes. This creates a distorted view of reality and reinforces our feeling of being alone in our imperfection. Self-compassion asks us to challenge this illusion of isolation. One of the core parts of self-compassion, as defined by the researcher Dr. Kristin Neff, is recognizing our common humanity. It is the act of remembering that suffering is part of being human. When you make a mistake, it's about gently reminding yourself, this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. Other people feel this way too. This simple thought is incredibly powerful. It takes you out of your lonely island of shame and connects you back to the wide, shared ocean of human experience. It reminds you that you belong here, not just with your successes, but with your struggles too. To recap this final point, we struggle with self-kindness because pain and failure make us feel isolated, as if we are the only ones who feel this way. Self-compassion helps us break this illusion by reminding us of our common humanity. The truth that imperfection and suffering are universal experiences that connect us all. So, as we bring our gentle conversation to a close, let's hold these ideas in our awareness. We've seen that our struggle with self-compassion is not a personal failing. It's a deeply human struggle. We struggle because we fear that kindness is weakness when it is actually our greatest strength. We struggle because we live with a loud inner critic, a voice from our past that we are just beginning to understand. We struggle because self-compassion is an unfamiliar language, a skill we were never taught. And we struggle because pain creates an illusion of isolation, making us forget that we are all in this together. Understanding this can, I hope, bring a little bit of compassion for your struggle with self-compassion. It's okay that this is hard. It makes sense that this is hard. And the journey toward a kinder inner world does not start with a grand gesture. It starts with a small, quiet moment. So I want to invite you, if it feels right, to try one small thing. You can place a hand gently over your heart, feel the warmth of your own hand, take one slow breath, and just say to yourself, silently in your mind, one simple, kind phrase. Perhaps it is, "It's okay," or "May I be gentle with myself in this moment," or simply, "I am here." That's all. That is the beginning of the practice. A small moment of warmth, a quiet breath, a gentle intention. This is how we learn the language of kindness for ourselves, not with force but with softness. One moment at a time. Thank you for lending your time and your heart to this conversation today. I hope it has brought you a sense of comfort and understanding. I look forward to our next talk. Until then, be well and be as kind to yourself as you are to everyone else.